The Minister said he wanted reasoned debate, and then he went on about billboards. He said the net international debt was a problem and his own budget forecasts it to rise for each of the next 5 years. He says the world is ugly because he wants New Zealanders to be frightened into returning his government. He says New Zealand can only muddle through. Well, here's what muddling through looks like. $37 billion more debt since that man became Minister of Finance. 47,000 fewer jobs since he took office. And GDP per capita down 3.6% under this government. Before the last election, the leader of the National Party said New Zealand has a growth problem, not a debt problem. Well, $37 billion later, it's got both a growth problem and a debt problem. Mr. Speaker, don't take my word for it. Take the word of the 3,000 or more New Zealanders voting with their feet every month and joining the million exiles from this country who have lost hope, who have lost patience with muddling through and want a better answer and a better future. That government said they would close the gap with Australia. When they took office, it was 30% of GDP per capita. Today it's 35%. The numbers don't lie, nor do the 3,000 Kiwis a month joining the million that have already left. They deserve better than photo ops and flim-flam. They deserve real debate. They deserve courageous policy that will address the underlying problems, the tough problems that are holding us back. They deserve solutions like a capital gains tax that will address the fact that there's $200 billion locked up in property, paying no tax, locking young people out of the housing market and starving business of capital. They deserve solutions like a strong savings policy that Labor will bring in that will close the savings gap and fix our current account deficit. Mr. Speaker, they want a real plan for jobs and growth, not a Prime Minister who just fronts up for the photo opportunities and runs like a rabbit from the hard problems. But that's not what New Zealanders need. That's not what they've got. They've got photo ops and flim-flam, not real leadership for tough times. They've got the veneer of a personality cult, the leader of the National Party. The thing that they are betting their next 3 years on is a smile and a vacuous waft past hard problems, not real solutions or real leadership for hard times. And even today, that PR double act continues. They want the public to be afraid about the international picture. That's why John Key says Bill English says it's ugly. But they want New Zealanders to feel okay about the Rugby World Cup and the weather at home. That's why John Key tells you, don't worry, the next 3 quarters looking good. Well, they can't both be right, and they're not both right. They're not both right because, as everybody knows, New Zealand is slipping further behind. Growth down, debt up, unemployment up, great gap with Australia widening. Well, enough of this rubbish. Enough of muddling through. Enough of borrow and hope. Enough of running away from tough problems. Enough of the widening gap. Enough of the loss of hope. Enough of rising unemployment of 47,000 fewer jobs. They say there's more jobs today than ever before. There were 3.4% unemployed under New Zealanders, 6.5 today. 3.4, 6.5, that's gone backwards, can't argue with that. Enough of the ever-rising cost of living. Food prices up 7%, wages up 1.9%, real median wages down 8% since this government took office. People are feeling poorer. Why? Because they are. And the rich have got richer with windfall tax cuts, and the poor can't feed their children. They call that muddling through. I call that injustice. They call that steady as she goes. I call it lining their own pockets. They call it New Zealanders on inner housing markets. I call it corruption.